question from Cindy. She's wondering what a couple of key measures are that you can use to know if you're creating a culture of servant leadership in your organization. John, maybe you want to try that one first.
Sure. Maybe we can do this popcorn. One, if you sit down with people across your organization, you walk down the hall, walk out onto the shop floor, and ask them if they understand why their work matters. And if they have an answer to that question, you've done your job. I often say that if people come to work without having a sense of the purposefulness or meaningfulness of their work, it's a leadership failure. And so we teach very specific things that we have to do as leaders if our people are going to understand that their work matters. I'll give you an example. I work with a company over the years called Industrial Scientific. They're the world's leading manufacturer of gas detection safety equipment. And their vision, their purpose statement is to eliminate death on the job. The people of Industrial Scientific are dedicating their careers to eliminating death on the job in this century. And they do very specific things. This isn't just a sentiment. They do very specific things to help their people imagine, make personal, and make emotional the importance of doing outstanding work, so that when they're bent over a circuit board or whatever they're doing, they realize why it matters. And so one measure would be, and this will take some courage, find out if your people know why it matters that they come to work every day. And if they don't know that, then get intentional and purposeful about helping them make the connection between the work that they do and the difference that they're making in the world.
Thanks. Measures.
Yeah, I think that's a foundational. If people aren't connecting their work to a greater purpose, if they can't see how their daily tasks contribute to that, I think that's a significant failure to serve. And the converse is also true. If that connection is made, that's one of the most powerful things we can do to serve team members. But I would also add, measuring emotional competencies. There are many assessments out there that can do that. And I think, of course, we can get a subjective idea of whether culture is changing, but I wouldn't leave it to a subjective measure. I would find, very well designed assessments that have been used, by many people that, with good results, to measure very specific things like how well does a leader listen, how empathetic is a leader, how concerned is the leader that somebody's growing every single day. These things have to be measured very precisely and with regularity. And I think with that, if you're measuring, for instance, let's say every quarter, every 6 months at first, then you can start to see, okay, where are we growing and where are we not growing? And to be most specific, a lot of these assessments are 360, and of course, there's always some value to getting feedback from peers and seniors. But I truly believe if you're trying to develop a servant leader organization, the most important feedback you're going to get is how do direct reports report on the people, on their leader. So to me, that's what matters more than anything. We tend to focus on, we want to get promoted, and we think about, okay, I got to make sure I look good for my boss. I would say worry more about how well you're taking care of your team, and if you do that, you're probably going to look great in front of your boss. So that's where I think the money's really made, so to speak, is getting that precise feedback from team members, from direct reports, and then at the C-suite, if that's where the culture change is coming from, you can be measuring managers not only on their performance in the terms of the normal things that we measure in everyday business, but also how is that culture changing on their team? Are we seeing steady growth in terms of how they're perceived by their direct reports? And I wouldn't expect it to happen overnight. It's not going to. You can see some changes quickly, but I would expect you need to work at this for a good 18 months to 3 years before you're going to see it, especially if the culture's been very anti-servant leader up to this point. But the payoff is tremendous. The investment of time and effort to grow a culture, as I'm sure you've heard from all the presenters before, the payoff is tremendous. It's worth the effort.
Thanks so much. So Matt and John, we're wrapping up this half hour with you. We have a